respect, it's really one of those occasions where everything aligned, and there's a huge amount of goodwill from everybody involved in the club over that time.
Mike is a man who knows exactly what he wants and will just keep going and keep at it until he gets there. A great example of that was the shed renovation. Without him, there is no way it would have been completed, and we certainly wouldn't have got the result that we got because he used his engineering expertise to do that. Additionally, he took over the coaching of the IV8 in 2009, and he's a man with the utmost integrity and commands respect. And I think that without Mike coaching that crew, there is no way that we would have won in 2009.
The background is really that in the 2000s, early 2000s, the club was in a bit of a bad way. The facilities were tired, the equipment was old, average 20 years old, membership was down, there were no funds in the club to do anything, there was certainly no capital to redevelop anything. The club teetering somewhat. Adrian Oates, to his credit, saw the predicament we're in and made a direct approach to the university and to the Vice-Chancellor for help. The Vice-Chancellor at the time was also new, and he responded with seed money for the club to get a new refurbishment underway. At the same time, there was other sort of major things happening which all contributed to the club developing momentum. There are outstanding athletes such as yourself and Matt Bolt and Nick Andrews. Around at the same time, there's a new general manager, Michael Dawes, here today, who's appointed to the Sports Association, and with immediate refreshing new approach to university sport. He was instrumental for some of the obstacles we're coming up against in refurbishing the shed, and also instantly supportive for the two new 8s that we were seeking funding for at that time, and that was quite a radical thing, I've got to say, but he was happy to support us.
Early 2009, I think my first month or so in the position, and I think Mike wanted to show me over the boat shed, right, to show me how bad it was, and I didn't have an understanding, and what on earth is he talking about. But outside didn't look too bad. So we went up the stairs and got to the top of the stairs, and the first thing I saw was a hole in the floor with a chair over the top. You looked down the hole and you could see to the ground level. And I remember saying to Mike, now I know why we need to refurbish the boat shed.
Another very significant feature, which perhaps wasn't evident at the time, was the advent of Christian Parker as our captain shortly after Adrian Oates left for Germany. Christian was unusual as a captain. He was a beginner rower. He hadn't really done any serious rowing previously, but enormously enthusiastic, and at the orientation week sessions during his captaincy, I think he had 64 registrations of interest from memory, maintained in the long term, over the long term, about 40 of them. What that did was to provide huge enthusiasm at the beginner level. They raced any and all regattas. Once again, a huge fillip in momentum to the club. Finally, of course, we've had a series of outstanding captains, yourself included, who've built on the success we had. We've been able to lift the club to the level at which it is today. So in a nutshell, it's really come down to facilities and people.